Hi, this is Patty with Realize Displays. Welcome back to our video tutorials. This tutorial is on our basic elements in our page design area. So I brought in a blank page over here. I'm just going to click in and edit it. And you'll see on the left-hand side we have our basic elements. On the lower left-hand corner, I just would like to draw attention to our page properties gear button. This is where you will change your horizontal mode to vertical mode. So if you're hanging a display in vertical fashion, this is where you will come and how you will change your canvas to design in vertical mode. I know it's a little bit hard to scroll up and down like this, so if you look in the upper right-hand corner, we have a visual bar that you can actually decrease the percentage, the viewing percentage, so that it all fits on your screen a lot nicer. I'm going to go back and change this to our horizontal mode and then go back into our 100%. Right next to that properties button is a hashtag, and this hashtag, you'll notice that we have blue grid that pops up, and this blue grid is nice. It has a lot of little squares on there. It allows you to line up an element so that it's perfectly lined up with another element or a place on the page. If you do forget to turn off the hashtags, don't worry, they're not going to show up on the display. It's just merely for the editor. Right next to that, we have a little lock, and that lock allows you to lock the elements that are on your page so you don't accidentally move an item. Once you get something placed on here where you want it to be, it'll be locked. When it's in red mode, click on it. It's white. It allows you to move and change that element. The next button next to that is our playful animation, and we'll go through that at a later video. So I'm going to just pull in a box right here, and you'll notice I can place it on one of those grid lines. We can expand it and move it around. You'll notice as I move it around though, you'll see these orange lines, and the orange lines are just guides for aligning objects to your canvas. So right now it's perfectly in the middle of my canvas. That orange line just lines it right up. We're going to double click on this box, and you'll notice there's properties on the left hand side. It allows me to change the background color. So I'm going to make that a nice blue. You can make this transparent so it can be an overlay. I'm going to pull this down a little bit, and you'll be able to see that you can put a border around, and you can also change the border color. You can also create a circle, and this is the only element that will allow you to do this. So all you need to do is make sure that you have pulled the slider bar all the way up to 100. And then if you look in the lower right hand corner, you have a width and a height. Just make sure the width and the height are exactly the same. So the width is 684. I just made the height 684, and it's exactly the same. Real quickly, as long as I have this circle out here, I'm going to show you on the left-hand side that you can copy that element as many times as you would like, and you can change the color. Now let's give it a yellow instead. I'm going to copy it one more time, slide that over, and we'll give it a green color. Now, what I would like to show you here as well is our layering buttons on the left-hand side. You can move items from front to back. So I have this green circle in front. I want to move it one layer back. So I am going to go to the first icon, and it's going to pop it behind the yellow, only the yellow. If I give it one more layer, it's actually going to pop behind the blue. You'll see that it's behind the blue too. So this is one layer at a time. The next icon right to the front of it, I'm going to click on that green circle again. That's going to bring it totally to the front. I'm sorry, that's going to bring it one layer at a time to the front. So one layer to the back, one layer to the front. If I click on the next layer button, it's going to move it all the way to the back. And if I click on the final one, it's going to bring it all the way to the front. So from the back to the front. So those are your layering buttons. Sometimes when I design, I bring everything onto my canvas and then I do my layering. We'll show animation in our next tutorial. I'm going to delete these items, and you can do it two ways. You can use the delete button here, or you can use the delete that's on your keyboard. Once again, I'm going to bring the rounded corners and create a square. I'm going to double click on the square and make it go full size. If you double click on anything, it goes full canvas size. Just a tip here, when you're designing, make sure that you fill up all of your margins. You don't leave any white space. If you leave white space, you're going to see it on your display and it's going to look unfinished. So I'm going to bring another element on to this canvas. I'm going to bring another square and we're going to give it another color. I'm going to give it a light blue. Stretch it out. You'll notice the handles here is what allows me to change the size. This little circle up here allows me to turn any element on its side. And if you look at the bottom down on the lower right hand corner, you will see I have a little protractor down here, and right now it's at an angle of 297. And then next to that we have an X and a Y axis, and that allows me to position it so many pixels from the X and so many from the Y. So we're going to leave it right about here. Okay, the next element we're going to bring on here is going to be our line. Again, properties are on the left, and you could do horizontal or vertical. We're going to keep it at horizontal. We can increase the thickness of it, the color, and we can also pick any dotted, dashed, whatever you would like, any of those type of elements. I'm going to stretch it out and keep that layered right on top. And then the next item is going to be our text. Now there's two menu bars that you can use for your text. On the left hand side you'll see text properties. You can increase the size of your text. You can change the line spacing, so if you have more than one line you can add spacing between them so they're easier to read. Again, there's transparency. We can add shadow, and again animation and our layering buttons. The only way you can delete a text item is only by this delete button. It will not delete off of your canvas with your keypad. So we're going to stretch this out a little bit. And I have it highlighted so I can change my font. I'll change it to Noto Sans. And then I'm going to give it a color. I'm going to change it white. And I'm going to make it nice and bold. And I'm going to stretch that out a little bit farther. You have other styling features up here as well. Underline, subscript, italicized. We're going to align this in the center. You also have options for order list, unordered list, and indents. We also have the capability for insert tables. We're going to be going through that at another video. You have a whole slew of emoticons that you can add into your messages as well, and undo and redo. And you also have clear formatting. Clear formatting is used when you copy and paste other text from an outside source and it comes in with formatting, all you have to do is highlight that text and then clear that formatting with this button. So I'm just going to change this to trust is the key. Okay, so we have our text up here. The next item, I'm going to bring an image. This is your image catalog, and it works pretty much the same way as your Pages catalog. You have your home base, which is My Pages, and then you'll notice you have an arrow, and we have several different folders in here that I've created as well. So you can navigate between those folders and get images or organize it again the same way that you did your Pages. You have the show extra path to drag to the same way as My Pages, your search and your filters. Up at the top, you'll see Unsplash and Pexels, and what those are is they are two websites that allow us to look for royalty-free images, and they're free images. So instead of you going to an outside source, you already have that capability right in your own dashboard. So if I wanted to pick a picture, all I have to do is, put my keywords in there, and it's going to look for images and bring them up. So I'm going to go back to My Pages, and I've already have a picture that I want to use. So you just click on the image and bring it in. We have a really cool feature. It's our crop mode, and it works beautifully. All we need to do is take those handles. I want to decrease this down a little bit. And if I click on that half circle under crop mode, it's going to make those handles red. And it's going to allow me to just crop out that gray. I really don't want that gray. But let's say I just want one picture at a time. So I'm able to crop out one picture at a time. And if I hit the crop mode, if I click it again, it's going to let me crop it completely. Now I can resize that picture to whatever size I want. If I go back and I click on the next crop mode, it is going to bring me back to my original picture. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we are going to cut out both of these pictures just by cropping them out. And I'll take care of that. Okay, so I have that picture cropped. All I have to do is take a copy of it, slide it over, and then I'm going to bring it back to its normal one, and I want the In Soap We Trust. So I'm going to do exactly that same procedure again. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have another picture here that I just want to show you. You'll see those orange lines line up again, so it tells me that items are lined up where they need to be lined up. So now we have our two pictures. Okay, so I just added a little bit of text down here with the text tool and just made that aligned. We're going to add a little bit of shadow on it so it pops out. And now we've made a nice but simple slide. So on the left hand side, what we can do is I can show you a little bit of animation where we can bring in text will lay down, and then everything is done in half-second increments. And we'll get each of these pictures to drop in. Put that in. And then protect yourself. Okay, so we've added some animation, and let's just take a look with our playful animation button. There you go. Beautiful slide and pretty simple to do. So that takes care of our basic elements so far. So now what we can do is just save and back. I do want to explain these three buttons down here real quick. Every time you're in here working, just make sure that you click your save button all the time, just in case you have to leave your desk for any time. You just want to make sure you save your work. You can, if you're just coming in to look at something and you just want to go back to your dashboard, just click back to your dashboard. Otherwise, when you're done completely with your slide, click save and back. And now you'll see that you've got one fully completely made slide on your dashboard. Again, we want to rename this. And I'm going to say protect yourself. So we're all set. So that's your basic elements tutorial. Stay tuned. We will get a little bit more detailed as we go through the tables and the grid. Thank you so much.